Hello everybody, Mannix here. I'm going to be doing a quick little knife review on a blast from the past. This is the Cold Steel Broken Skull. No longer make these things. I don't remember the year offhand they stopped. I want to say it was somewhere around 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't do my research. It's just from what I remember. These were sold for kind of a short amount of time, just a couple of years, few years, 3 or 4, somewhere around there. But it's a really cool knife. Slim, lightweight, strong. If you are familiar with the Cold Steel Range Boss, mid-2022, they are still selling these guys. It's the exact same design, only the Broken Skull has G10 handle scales, and they sold it in both CTS XHP blade steel and then later S35VN. Now they no longer sell them at all. I don't remember when they stopped again, but this one, the Range Boss, is much, much cheaper. We have FRN handles on here, and then we have a Krupp stainless 4034SS. Oof. That's cheap. That's a very, very cheap blade steel. But everything else is exactly the same, I promise you. So if you like this one and you want something that's more higher end, that's what the Broken Skull was. Anyway, they no longer make these, but I found a new one at a gun store. So I decided to buy one because it would be pretty cool for the collection, I think. Let's just get the specs out of the way. Overall length is 9.25 inches. Blade length 4 inches on the nose. The handle length is 5.25 inches. Weighs 3.1 ounces, so it's about the Spyderco Endura weight, somewhere around there. And again, XHP blade steel on this one. Some had S35EN. Back in the day when these were being sold, you could get these in the aftermarket, somewhere around 80 bucks or so, I want to say. I know the S35EN version retailed at $139.99. I don't know what this version retailed at the time. And I believe it was designed by Steve Austin, as it says right there. So it's comfortable, it's really slim, really easy to carry. The grip on here, the G10 is really aggressive. It doesn't look like much from the video, but it's really grippy, actually. Really, really grippy. Cutouts right here for jimping doesn't really work that well because your thumb's kind of sliding on the lock bar, but it's there. Wide cutouts right here for your hand. You can scooch down here if you want. No lanyard hole, by the way. Scooch up here. A little bit more control. I like the long clip blade right here. The belly starts towards the tip. So it's interesting. It's good for just making slices. Things like that. Good for piercing. Good all around FFG blade right here. DLC coating, diamond light carbide. So it's really strong as far as the coating on the blade goes. I really like it too. It's shiny. It's a beautiful black coating. It won't scratch too easily. Definitely not as easily as their Tough X or Teflon coating they put on their other knives. But it is more expensive. That'll drive the cost up a little bit. Triad lock, as you can see, so it's very, very strong. Not going to disengage on you. Blackened hardware. This came in different colors. This happens to be the Coyote Brown, but I believe they also sold it in a blue, an orange, a white. I don't even remember all the colors, but tip up carry, tight pocket clip. You're probably going to want to adjust the tension on that if you get one because they're tight. Really, really tight. Some people don't mind. Some people are like, well, I don't want it falling out of my pocket. So, there you go. But for me, it's just a little bit too tight. I believe it's an FRN, possibly aluminum backspacer on there, but it's nice. Like I like the black on brown contrast right here, or whatever color you get. It's just cool looking. Again, really slim, really long, but really strong too. Flicks out every single time. No wrist movement needed. I'm actually impressed. For a lockback style folder, you usually need to give it some kind of thwack, but this doesn't need anything. And no side to side, no up and down, bank vault lockup on this. That's really, really impressive. Usually you need some kind of pivot play in order to flick out a knife without any wrist movement, but this one doesn't have it, so awesome. Fast, strong, light, slim. It's a great backpacking blade, great defense blade, tactical blade. Won't take up too much space in your pocket. Yeah, it's long, but it's slim. It's a slim, slim knife. Very grippy. There's not a whole lot of like texturing or cutouts in the handle. It's very simple, very versatile design here, so you can grab it in multiple positions and it will be comfortable. Won't be uncomfortable anyway. Covert, again, I like the stubby little pocket clip on here. It doesn't look like a massive knife or anything. 4-inch blade, but it's not like super wide or anything either. I happen to like the thicker handles, but this will take up less space in your pocket. It's more covert, lighter weight. A lot of length here, a lot to reach with. The XHP blade still is on the higher end. I will say medium higher grade. S35VN is really high end, I'm going to say, for the price anyway. But XHP, it's definitely way better than AUS 8 or even AUS 10. I'm going to categorize it anyway. You can do your research on it. It's kind of complicated, but Cold Steel was using that for, I think, 2 years, 2 or 3 years on their knives, and then they switched. But it was a great blade steel. That's the big thing you were paying for on these. So $80. There's not a whole lot going on here. Again, this is 2 thin slabs of G10, a thin triad lock, thin blade. Kind of simple, plain Jane knife. But most of that price was going into the blade steel right here. And it is an excellent blade steel. Won't dull out on you very quickly. It's just a good, solid user knife. Strong, fast, slim, light, long. Kind of the best of both worlds. You want a strong knife that's not going to break on you. You want to do really, really hard work with it, and you want a lot of reach for defense or whatever the situation is. But you don't want it taking too much space in your pocket. You don't want it being too bulky, too heavy, too cumbersome. That's what these Broken Skulls are great at. Now, if you like the Broken Skull and you can't find one, and you don't want to spend too much money on one, because you're going to be spending at least probably around $100, maybe even more if you find a used one. New ones, you might be spending closer to $200, but if you like the design, but you don't really care for the blade steel too much, you can go get a Range Boss. These are closer to $40. A little expensive for that, but it's certainly cheaper than these guys right here. Same exact knife, but we have an FRN handle, which is also very grippy, and a cheaper blade steel that is stonewashed. That's basically it. It's literally the exact same knife other than the materials. And in fact, you can see the lock bar on the Range Boss is a little wider too. Just notice that. There you have it, a quick look at the Broken Skull right here. These are really cool. I don't know why they stopped making them, but if you find these, if you want one for your collection, they're great knives. Absolutely. Fit and finish is great. Lockup is great. There's just nothing I can really say that's bad about them other than the fact that they were a little expensive. But again, you're mostly just paying for that blade steel right there. Anyway, that's it. That was the Cold Steel Broken Skull. Great knife.